Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to today's Nightbird video. It's a little bit later than I would have liked, but we really have dug into this to make sure I've got answers to absolutely everything I could have questions on. I'm sure there's other thoughts and theories that are floating out there, and I'm sure there will be a need to do a bit of an update tomorrow, but I think this is going to box off most things. I want to start by paying tribute to Jodie and sending my condolences to her friends and her family. It was horrific news that came through of her passing. The news coming through earlier today. We started the stream by mentioning her, and I want to start this video by mentioning her as well. In my mind, she's one of the brightest fireflies. For her to have the passion for Bray and his world that she had, it was so big that she started her own show, Abby's Window, so that she could share that passion with other Bray fans. And you know, she was so supportive of him. She really did love him and his work so much, and she shared that love with other Bray fans. And the news came through of her passing. I didn't believe it when I first saw it. I just couldn't get my head around it, and I'm still can't get my head around it. But you know, the amount of people that she touched, if you will, like the amount of people that she reached, you only got to look on social media to just see just the outpouring of grief today was it was incredible, right? The amount of people that you know, reacted to this news today. My whole feed was just full. It was just full. And WWE seemed to have acknowledged this as well, because it seems like her initials were in the source code today. And Rob Fee, who's a driving force for this whole campaign, he actually put a message out about her today. And he's also liked a load of tweets where people have said thank you for that tribute. That seems to be an acknowledgement that it was for her. So if anyone deserves it, it's her. She absolutely deserves it. Doesn't change the fact that she's no longer with us. It doesn't change the pain that her family must be feeling right now. But thoughts are with them, you know. That we have to start with that. That's clearly much bigger than anything we're going to be talking about. So condolences to them and the friends as well. So with that being said, let's get into the QR codes. This is how it interrupted the show, and you can see after it flashed up on screen, we got this. Now this looks to be a person standing in a kitchen. That looks to be a fridge. So it seems to be someone standing in a kitchen, and of course people are saying, is this Joe Gacy? It does give off very strong Joe Gacy vibes, and I think there is a really good chance that it is. I think there's a really good chance that this is Joe Gacy. So this, I think, is really interesting and something that definitely is worth paying attention to. So even before we scan the QR codes, before we even get anywhere, this was like flashed up as the QR code left the screen. This was like on screen for about a millisecond, and then this disappeared as well. So it could be Joe Gacy. I wanted to bring that to your attention. WrestleBuzz just tagging me in this. So this is a video that kind of shows a bit of a breakdown of the investigation work that was done into working out the QR codes. We could have a look at that. Maybe we'll just have a little look at that afterwards. I think we've got everything anyway, and I want to make sure that people are getting credit, you know, for the things that they found. But this is an interesting video that kind of breaks everything down. So as we said, we might come to that, but we're going to whoosh down and go back to the beginning, right? So here we've got the QR code, and you can see that kitchen in the background. So the movement said new QR codes. Going to leave it on screen for anyone that wants to scan it right now. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tell you about Tom Colohue, okay? So Tom Colohue, he is a presenter, if you will, a journalist, right? But he does present his own show. He's got a show called Spoiler Warning, and this was up hours and hours and hours ago, so I don't feel like I'm stepping on his toes talking about this now. But what I would say is an excellent source, and if you are interested in Nightbirds, I would strongly recommend that you're keeping an eye on his content. He has found out some really interesting information, and I think there's some stuff here which might provide some answers for you. So he said that Bo Dallas has got the backing to do whatever he wants. I think they really want to pay tribute to Bray, WWE, in the right way. And so Bo Dallas has got free reign. He can do what he wants to tell the story that he wants to tell. And that showed itself with Rowan apparently being brought back on a good money, good contract. Never even questioned, you want Rowan? You've got Rowan. And as well, Joe Gacy and Nikki Cross, they are apparently involved because Bray was interested in using them. Don't know that he would have used them, but they were on Bray's radar and he was interested in using them. And so, again, I think that Bo has said, well, I want them people to be involved. Yes, you can have them. And I'd imagine the same with Dexter Lumis as well, right? So it seems like Bo is being allowed to do what he wants. It seems like they're trying to not get in his way. Apparently, this is not just Triple H, but Nick Khan as well. Like, tell the story that you want to tell. And they trust that it's going to, work and that people are going to be into it. It seems like they've used Nightbird as it's been brilliant, but they've used it as a way to kind of promote their TikTok account, their Twitch stream, of course. So seems like they are exploring ways to use this to kind of boost their social media numbers. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I don't care. One drop, right? I thought what we got on Twitch was stunning. And if they've done it that way because they're hoping it'll boost their Twitch numbers, I hope it does as well. I hope it works for everyone because it was brilliant. I so enjoyed what we got on Thursday. So if that's true that they're doing it to try and boost their social media numbers, good for them. I hope it works because it was brilliant. And it says that apparently there are plans that are going to involve Braun and Alexa. We don't think they're going to be in the group at the start. They may not join the group at all. But there are plans for them that are going to involve Nightbirds or Bo. They are going to be involved in some manner. They might be targets. They might be they become characters further down the road and join up with the group. But Alexa and Braun, which I think is the interesting one, are going to be involved at some point in the future. They said that the group's debut, or Tom said the group's debut won't be at SummerSlam. It's going to be earlier than that. He wouldn't commit to saying it was definitely King and Queen of the Ring, but that's what I know many of you are thinking, right? But he wouldn't actually say it, but that's what I'm thinking. And he says that this is the big one. This is what I think will blow your mind. Bo is working towards Bray's dream character, right? His dream character. It's not a tribute to Bray. It's a character that Bray had been working on that we never got introduced to. It's not that Fiend character. They showed that in the documentary. There's a character coming that is Bray's dream character. It's a character I think Bray had been working on, right? And this could be this character at the end in the static. It could be that character in the static, the reason why we don't quite know or we can't quite figure out what it is, we might never have been introduced to it before. This dream character is on the way, right? And Bray tried to tell a story throughout his career and never got a chance to tell it. And so this is what we're focused on. We're trying to tell that story. Now, of course, when I think about Bray and I think about his career, I think about Sister Abigail and that story, because that was kind of weaved throughout his career. And I feel like releases, injuries, creative differences just prevented this story from fully being told. So it seems like Bo and all these others are coming together so that they can help tell this story. it says to me, I mean, it says to me that there is a story. It says to me then that there will surely be a plan. It says to me that this is going to be very engaging, very rich, that there's going to be lots of twists and turns, lots of reveals. It seems to me like even when Nightbird ends, I think what we're going to be moving on to should hopefully be just as engaging. It might not be the same sort of thing with QR codes and trying to work things out, but it doesn't mean that it's going to stop being compelling, engaging. It just might become that in a slightly different way, right? Because apparently there is a big character on the way that's coming sooner rather than later, this big reveal, and there is also a story that needs to be finished, right? I don't want to get all Cody Rhodes on you, but that's what I got from Tom Collihue's spoiler warning. So if you're not watching that, make sure you start. Right, let's get through this, shall we? Now, I suppose the first thing I need to do is show this, right? This is the first thing I need to do. So when you scan that QR codes, so you know where it interrupted. We know the Joe Gacy picture that was in the background, or we think it's Joe Gacy. Then you actually get to this. So first thing, the URL. The URL is 22423. Now it turns out that that is a postcode for Jeddah, right? That is a postcode in Saudi Arabia. Right, I don't think it's the exact postcode for where we're going to be, but it is mind-blowing that that is a postcode at all. That number is a postcode at all in Saudi Arabia, right? And the reason why that's mind-blowing is because it's also the date of the last Funhouse. I mean, don't you think that's just amazing? Doesn't that blow your mind? Doesn't it blow your mind that the last Funhouse, the date of it, also happens to be a postcode in Saudi Arabia? I mean, that is just amazing. So that to me is staggering. So Justin, shout out to you. Justin in our live stream pointed out that it was the date of the last Funhouse. And I believe this is the one where Howdy says, "I am all of us." And I believe it's the one where Bray says, "Can you keep a secret?" Right? That all of those quotes come from that final Funhouse episode. So really love that. Really love that. So we've got this video, and there's lots to talk about with the video. Probably the bit that people want to talk about the most is this at the end. So this is obviously, you know, we got a slightly better look at it. I don't know if it's looking forwards or if it's looking down. If it's looking down and these are the eyes that are looking down and this is like a skull mask, then that's very interesting. If it's looking forward and these are the eyes, then that's, and that could be the mouth. You know, this could be the mouth. These could be the eyes. That's interesting. If it's a skull mask and it's looking down and those are the eyes, that would be the mouth. And then I don't quite know as to what this would be up here. Would this be like some sort of hood? Some sort of hair or something? It's very hard to say. If you want to know what my honest thoughts are with this, I think these are the eyes, and I think this is some sort of mask that might be like a bandana or something that kind of goes over here. I feel like it's eyes with some sort of covering over the mouth that kind of comes down, and maybe there could be some facial hair in here as well. You know, hair, eyes, bridge of the nose, and then a mask or a bandana or something around here. Then, of course, you got the shoulders, into the arms, into the hands that seem to come up like this. And I think it's very interesting. We've had people saying that the person could be looking the other way and we're looking at the back of them. But I would just wonder then, why do we have seemingly the hands if this is the back of them? So that's what stops me from thinking it is the back of them. But I think this is really interesting, of course. And we'll have a little look more into this as we go on. You can see here, look. So that's what it looked like, but actually hidden underneath is this words, veiledrood, right? Veiledrood. Now, there's loads of thoughts on this. I can tell you that CBF Music and JP they both found out that veiledrood is the Catholic practice of putting a veil over a crucifix or a screen during Lent, right? So there is a religious connection there. But then other people have found out that if you move the letters around, you can get other words, right? You can actually create other words like devil, door, which I think is amazing. I absolutely love the devil, door one. I think we'll get to that in a bit. Eddie found out that it was also Dutch for veiled red. So veiledrood or veiledrood is also Dutch for veiled red. And we know that red has been a big factor, what with red seemingly symbolizing Bray. I think my favorite one explanation for this is the devil door. I really like that because door has featured quite a lot. And we know that anagrams have featured in the past as well, like that Wendy Lucho, which turns out to be Uncle Howdy. So this could absolutely be just messed up as well, and it could be Devil Door. So that has got a lot of people talking. That has dominated a lot of conversation. As we continue down, right, we do come across some static, right? There's some static that has a date that's in it. I wondered if it was going to show, but there it is. So this is the 4/7/14, right? 4/7/14. Now, apparently, this is a match. So you can go back to an episode of, I think, Raw, and you get a Cena, Sheamus, Big E versus the Wyatt family match. So that was discovered. But also, Battle Against Misinformation said that this was Bo Dallas's first vignette. And what's really good about that is the first vignette on the main roster. It all focused on I'm possible, right? And that was mentioned in the source code as well. So for me personally, I think this connects to Bo. I think this connects to his first vignette on the main roster. And I think the extra clue towards that, pointing us in that direction, was hidden in the source code with the I'm possible, right? So 4/7/14. People have also said that you can actually click on it and get to a Bible reference. And we'll have a look at that in a bit. So we got that. There's also a dot, which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to see it here, you know. There's a dot that's in here, which is really hard to see, but you can click on the dot. I don't even know if I'll be able to find the dot, to be honest. But there is like a grey dot on here that is so hard to find. But when you click on it, it opens a picture, a little glimpse of a picture. Again, it's going to be impossible to find on here. I found it pretty easily on my phone, actually, but on here... there it is. There it is. So that's the dot. Can I press it again? Will it go away? No. I think I've opened it now. I've opened the door. That was just a little tiny grey dot. When you click on it, you get this. And this is just a tiny glimpse of, obviously, a bigger picture that's been revealed to be Waylon Mercy. Waylon Mercy, right? And this picture, when you actually go into it, the title of it is Hieracy of Needs, right? When we go down here as well, you've got this Nightbird. If you click on that, it'll take you to Twitch, and it'll take you to that stream from yesterday. So that is really, really cool. The Nightbird as well, the file name of it is Dunkar, which has appeared before, right? And actually, I think that was the name of this Nightbird picture before as well, so they haven't changed that. So obviously, we'll look into what Dunkar means also. So we've got that to look at. We've got this to look at. We've got the date to look at. And as well as that, we got the word. So we got this to look at. We've got the word to look at, that veiledrood, which is hidden under here. And we've got the source code to look at. And we've got the URL to look at. And we've got the video to look at. Oh, they don't make it easy, do they? They don't make it easy. So let's flip over here and let's start working our way through this and see where we get to, right? So I've explained a lot of stuff in there. Now what we're going to do is dig into it and see what you lot found. So here, look, Rian said if you download the Nightbird image in the corner at the bottom, it's got a file name of Dunkar, right? The word Dunkar in Sanskrit or Buddhism or Hinduism means unease, standing, unstable, suffering, pain. So that's what it means. So Nightbirds, thank you for tagging me in that. And Rian, thank you for tagging me in that as well. So this is the Uncle Howdy video. Obviously, we've already got that, but I wanted to include it in case I had any problems with that other one. So Fadeaway Media, straight onto it. Right, WrestleBuzz said these are images that flashed up. So these apparently are some of the images that we got on screen. So we got this. Looks like the world, doesn't it, from above. We got a shot of the cabin or the house. We got that as well, which is Waylon Mercy. That turns out to be Waylon Mercy. And then we got this of a forest. I have had people telling me that they feel like they might be able to see someone tied to a tree in there, but I'm not so certain personally. Then we got this bit here. So this has got people talking. This screaming woman. Now, I don't know that that's the therapist or anything. It could be from like a classic horror film or something like that. Some of this, I think, could turn out to be stock footage, because even during White Rabbit, there was some really interesting images that we were looking into and dissecting and really trying to figure out. And I think some of them did actually turn out to be stock footage. So I don't know that we need to try and figure out who this woman is. I think it's more just providing and adding to the atmosphere, the ambience. So obviously, if we can work out who she is, brilliant. If we can find where it's from, brilliant. But I wouldn't be surprised to find out that that's been taken from a horror film or is some stock footage, you know? This isn't stock footage. This is the bride, and of course we've seen this before. And it's worth mentioning that in one of the pictures, the bride seems to have black hair, and so we really think that this could be Nikki. We don't think it's the therapist. We don't think it's Alexa because of the black hair. They could have dyed their hair, of course, so you can't rule it out. But the black hair makes me think that this is the front runner for this is Nikki. Then we got like this door opening. That was another image that was in there as well. So very, very interesting. Let's come off full screen. Let's go back. There we go. Right, here, so Sepulcro said QR code from this week leads to a video where an AI voice repeats, "He is nobody, he is all of us." So that's the video at the top, with a link to the Twitch stream from yesterday in the bottom. And also this. And as we said, this is, I think personally, connects to Bo Dallas's first vignette, right? That he cuts, which has in there "I'm possible" written in it, and then that is in the source code as well. Chris said the White House is from a promo video. A news reporter was looking for the Wyatt family. Here's Misfit Wrestling Podcast said when you click on the dots, it becomes part of this image. So the dot wasn't there when we just looked at it because I'd clicked on it already. So here's the bigger image of what this was showing us. This is Waylon Mercy. This is who Mercy the Buzzard was named after. This is who Bray Wyatt based his original Bray character after. The Bray character that was in the Wyatt family, right? That came up from NXT, that wore Hawaiian shirts and everything. Like, there's a lot of influence that came from Waylon Mercy. And Waylon Mercy was not the biggest of characters in WWE in the mid-90s. I mean, it didn't really go anywhere. But it was very interesting. It had loads of potential, but it just was sadly unfulfilled. And I wonder if Bray wanted to try and fulfill that potential, you know? So a lot of people have said, or some people have said, could you imagine if Waylon does feature in this in some way? I think that would be awesome. I don't know that he will, but I think it would be awesome if he did just even like a small cameo appearance, you know? Because I believe he is still with us. I don't think Dan Spivey has passed away. I think he is still with us. So that would be awesome. So yeah, we got this, and that was a big influence for Bray. Here's CB Prodigy said, found this from an old Bray promo vignette at the compound matches, the balcony above. So here, that is one of the images that flashes up on screen. It is from an old Bray promo. I'm Just Ken said the date from the source code of the QR link is the match between John Cena, Sheamus, Big E, and the Wyatt family. So obviously in the source codes is the 4714. It has to be in there so that it shows in that static that we were looking at. So it's in the source code. It's also the date that was in that static. And as we said, that's Cena, Sheamus, Big E versus the Wyatt family. But it's also Bo Dallas's first vignette. And it could be there for both reasons. But I think Bo Dallas's vignette is the main reason it's there. That's the one that I favor anyway. So, but great spot from I'm Just Ken. Tara said veiledrood could be veiled door. If you unscramble door, go the other way, it could be veiled door. So I like that from Tara. It could be. And again, if you unscramble that, then you get evil. Well, do you get evil? Because it would have a D in it, wouldn't it? Would it be eviled? Would it be eviled? Eviled door? Veiledrood has 2 D's, so veiled door might now be my new favorite theory, actually. Might now be my new favorite theory. I definitely think that I could see that being a scrambled word. As we said, CBF Music and JP Villy, they found Catholic practice of putting a veil over a crucifix or a screen during Lent. Could be something in that as well. I do like veiled door now. That might be my new front runner. Gio the Theo said he wants to be most one can be. So the dot, the picture of Waylon Mercy, the name of that, if you save it to your computer, the name of it is Hieracy of Needs. So people have obviously looked into what Hieracy of Needs is. And here we can find it. So Maslow's Hieracy of Needs. So we've got psychological needs, things like air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction, right? I'm guessing... I don't really know how this is stacked. I'm guessing that this is the most important, maybe. You without air, without water, you're not going to survive. So you've got this. Then you've got safety needs, personal safety, employment, resources, health, property. I would have thought health would have been here, but I suppose you can still live if you're unhealthy, right? People live with diseases. I mean, you can't live without air and water, but... I don't know, health on this next one, right? Then you've got love and belonging, so friendship, intimacy, family, a sense of connection. Then you've got esteem, which is respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. And then you've got self-actualization, the desire to become the most that one can be. So this is the hierarchy of needs. As I said, I don't quite know how it works. So this is the first time I've been introduced to it. Is it that this is the most important? Or is this what we're working towards? Are these the things we need and then we gain these throughout our life? Is this what life is? It's very interesting. I've never, ever seen this before or even heard of this before. So it's very interesting. This was the name of that Waylon Mercy picture. Then we got this. In Arabic, rood is road. So it could be veiled road. I like that. And I like the Arabic nod as well, because obviously Saudi Arabia. So I like that. Bailey, shout out to you. Brandon said, Uncle Howdy QR codes has got a hidden Bible quote. So here, look, if you look at the video, we go down, we find the 4714, then you've got the static in the background. If you look it up, it takes you to a Bible quote. So it could be this, it really could. So here we've got, when a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, will you give me a drink? The Samaritan woman said to him, you are a Jew and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? At the time, Jews did not associate with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. Sir, the woman said, you have nothing to draw with and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself? As did also his sons and his livestock. Jesus answered, everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the waters I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become... It's gone. Man, I was getting into it. I was like, what's happening with the water? What happens next? We need a Twitch stream. What happened to the water? So, yeah, that was good. I, to be honest with you, I don't think it's that. I personally don't think it's that. The 4714, I think, is Bo Dallas's first vignette on the main roster. But it's so interesting to see the same numbers being decoded and worked out in so many different ways. But, oh my God, I'm going to have to break out the Bible to find out what happens with the water now. I'm Just Ken said, theory, what if that creature that we keep seeing is a combination of all the puppets, and that's what they mean when they say he is all of us? I think, for me, I think I'm hoping it will be like scarier than that. What I'm picturing in my mind is like all the puppets being like stuck together and it all being like a collage of them. I'm thinking it's going to be more intimidating than that. I think that he can be all of them by encompassing their key characteristics rather than their physical characteristics. You know, it can be a case that he can still borrow from all of them, but as we said, it doesn't have to be physical. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought that this creation that's coming is going to encompass everything. He is all of us. But I don't know that it will be the puppets, but I thought that was an interesting thought. Here's Antonio. He said, is this Gacy? So that is the picture when the QR code dropped. Anime Fiend Zeno said, tagging me in this from SlamX, I've seen a lot of people saying the voice in the video says he is nobody. He is all of us. To my ears, it definitely sounds like she. So the video that we haven't even touched on yet, this video seemed to zoom into a picture of who I believe is Bray as a kid, right? I was like, is that Dominic at first? Because I couldn't quite make out that it was a kid. It was quite a small picture, and then you zoom into it. And then you seem to kind of go into his brain. We seem to zoom into like his head, his forehead. That to me is us kind of going into Bray's brain, if you will. I think it's meant to show that Bray was into the darker side of things even as a kid. And then we're going into his mind to see what was in there, you know? And I think that this creature we get at the end, it's come from Bray's mind. It could be that that's Bo. It works if it's Bo as well. But I'm thinking it's Bray. But I'm quite happy to hold my hands up saying I don't know. It could be Bo. But I really like it. It's really good. It's really interesting. But whilst we're zooming in, we keep getting these pictures that are cutting in. And we also hear, he is nobody. He is all of us. That's what I wrote down. That's what I heard. But it could be she. I think another theory is that it could actually alternate. It could be that at times it says he, and maybe at times it says she, because maybe every time they say it, they're talking about a different person. He is all of us. The first time might refer to Howdy. He is all of us might refer to Joe Gacy. She is all of us. She is nobody. She is all of us might refer to Nikki Cross. Then we might go back to he. So you'll have to listen to it and make your own mind up, right? Do they say she every time? Do they say he every time? Or is there a chance that they are mixing it up? Right, here, this is from the source code. So here's the source code, right? So you can see down here, it says, I'm possible, right? It's the green that we're interested in. I'm possible. And again, that just adds weight to the Bo Dallas vignette, right? But here, look at this. It says JG, and then that seems to be a heart, right? That seems to be a heart. You can't really put a heart in this code. So that seems to be a heart. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you have to start it with this exclamation point ... They've done it here as well. So I feel like you probably do from a coding point of view. And then you can put anything you want there. And so I think they've put her initials, Jodie's initials, and then a heart. So, and as we said, you know, Rob was liking people saying thank you for that tribute to her. I must admit, when I saw it, because I'm so into trying to work this out, you know, in my mind, I was like, is that Joe Gacy? And I would think a lot of people have come to that conclusion. But I am definitely here to tell you that my belief on this, and my belief on this will not change. I don't care what information you want to provide. I ain't budging. For me, that's for Jodie. Right. Gio the Theo said the screaming woman must be the therapist. I want to touch on this because a lot of people have got in touch and said, is that final Funhouse episode, when the door opens, you can hear a woman screaming, right? Now, at the time, I remember everyone saying, is that Alexa, right? That was what the conversation was. Now, of course, everyone is saying, not everyone, but some are saying, is it the therapist? I've just got a bit of a problem with it because I feel like, unless it's going to be revealed that this therapy session happened years ago, that last Funhouse was a long time ago. It was February of 2023. Now, to all intents and purposes, the therapist hadn't gone missing, hadn't been stolen. We don't know the date, of course, that she went missing. So it could be that that therapy session happened ages ago, right? So it is possible that the screams are her. I would lean towards it not being her, because I kind of like the idea of Uncle Howdy going to therapy because of Bray's passing. And that's why Howdy went to therapy, because he needed to get his head around what had happened with Bray passing away. And that's why he was struggling. Well, Bray was still with us when that Funhouse episode aired and the door opened and there was a woman screaming. So for me, the therapist doesn't quite fit. You could probably make it fit, but it doesn't quite fit for me at the moment. But I wanted to touch on this because Gio's not the only one that's mentioned this. And so it is a theory that's out there. And it could be correct. It could be correct. But I just, again, where I am with it is I'm thinking no. I'm thinking no, just because that was from February of last year. But it could be a big swerve that this therapy session was from 2 years ago. Could be this therapy session actually was with Bray and not Howdy, and it took place back in 2022, you know? And then, of course, the screaming woman, you could say that is the therapist. Right, here, JG, Jodie Gilly said Super Ragnar. Yes. And you can see that veiledrood, 4714, JG, all in this source code as well. And Hieracy of Needs in there as well. But obviously, anything that we look at when we scan the QR code needs to be in the source code. Otherwise, it wouldn't appear at all, right? So all of this stuff can be found in here. Even the link to Twitch, which is when you click on the Nightbird video or the Nightbird picture at the bottom of the QR code. Right, this is interesting. Nita Nitro said, veiledrood, maybe the veiled virgin, right? Holds deep symbolism, represents themes of purity, spirituality, I can't even say it, spirituality, got there, and the ethereal nature of faith. The veil symbolizes the mystery, and modesty of the Virgin Mary, right? Whilst also alluding to the divine nature of her role. So has that got a connection? Has that got a connection to obviously what we saw with the veiledrood? We have seen that veiled thing before. It was one of the old QR codes. So where are we? I think I might need to get a move on here. We're quite far down. I didn't realise we had so much still to get through. So, Nita Nitro, shout out to you. Didn't realise Jeddah is known as the bride of the Red Sea. Oh, they could definitely do something with that, couldn't they? Nightbird said, could this photo of Taylor as a kid on Halloween also look like Sting? Is this Taylor or is this Bray? I don't know if this is Taylor or Bray, to be honest. I presumed that it was Bray, but it absolutely could be Taylor as well. Brady said a crucifix is a cross. Could that be Nikki Cross? So that just goes back to the discovery of CBF Music and JP Villi about veiledrood being a Catholic practice of putting a veil on a crucifix. Crucifix is a cross. Could that be Nikki Cross? Right, Anime Fienzino, thank you. WrestleBuzz said the lady from Raw was in the QR code. This is mental, man. So look at this lady, this creature, right? I'm going to say creature. Sorry if it is just a normal lady, right? But this character that was shown during Drew's entrance featured in the QR codes. That is sick, isn't it? That is sick. I've seen people make the argument about the fact that this wasn't connected, because if it was connected, people would have paid it attention. I think I've made the comment before, though, that there is some truth to that. But of course, she could look normal close up. This person doesn't need to be wearing a mask. This person doesn't need to be in any kind of costume. It could just be that she's there and she's got this like dress on or whatever. And for her to just stand still for a moment whilst the spotlight falls on her, you could walk past that and not think anything about it. If it's just a woman that is standing there, right? You could walk past it and not even think twice. But from a distance, from our perspective, it obviously looked interesting. It obviously looked noteworthy, and so we spoke about it. And so for it to now appear in the QR codes is insane. So I can't tell if this was planted because they wanted it in the QR codes and it was a moment, right? Or is it a case that they saw the chatter online and thought, we'll add it? It could be that. It could be that they're like, oh, that's cool, we'll add that. And so they added it to the QR. I'm not sure which one is the correct one, but it's really fun that it was featured. It also makes me wonder, do we need to go and have a look at this week's Smackdown and see, was there any moments like this on Smackdown during entrances where there's another mystery figure that's just standing there, you know? Right, Tall Guy said anagram for Devil Door. Does that fit? Is it me that's just getting all mixed up with this? This one's really messing with my head, and I think part of it is because I might not have written it down right. So, veiled road, which I think is veiled door, sorry, which I think is really good. Or is it devil door? But I don't know if that fits. I need to have a look at that word again because it's messing with my head so much. Where is the... Oh, do we not have it? I thought we actually had a... Oh, there it is. Veiledrood. So does that work as devil door? I suppose it does, doesn't it? D-E-V... How the hell spell devil? I-L, isn't it? Devil. Devil door. Veiled door. Oh, I think both might work, you know. I think both might work in the end. Oh, I don't know. I'm really struggling on that one. You'll have to let me know what you think on that one. That one is really messing me up. Right, here was the Firefly Funhouse, the final one that was referenced. It's the one where the woman is heard screaming. It's the one where it's, can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret? I am all of us. All of that stuff features in this episode. Gio the Theo said Joe Gacy was Catholic. So does that add to the Catholic practice of putting a veil over a crucifix or a screen during Lent? Does that get more credence now that we find out that Joe Gacy is Catholic? This veiledrood is just a nightmare. It's really messed my head. Daniel said, this is interesting. 22324 is the zip code, a postcode in Jeddah. That is just mental. The same date as the last Firefly Funhouse is also a postcode in Jeddah. Mental. Right, Haley, shout out to you. Looks like an image of a person in the mouth. So, what is this? That's a real good image of it. What is it? This is obviously been a massive talking point since it first arrived, really. We got it in the QR code. I think we had seen it before then, but we got it in the QR code. We saw it, of course, at the end of the Twitch stream, and then we get it again here. I really think this is a monster reveal. I really think this is a huge reveal. Whatever this is, once we actually get to see it, I think it's going to be an OMG moment. King Joker said the door is opening. Haley said there's also a cross on the forehead of the figure. So this here, is that a cross? Look at that. Look at that. Is that a cross? Right, this was Rob Fee. Look, Jodie was an absolute angel. Always sent the sweetest messages, sending all the love to her family. That was Rob Fee, who is director of character development with WWE. So that's how you can have confidence that they were aware of Jodie. And that's how you can have confidence that... Well, not just that. I said if you go to his Twitter account, you can actually see that he has liked loads of tweets that people have sent him saying thank you for that tribute. So, right here, look, Janie said, theory. Weirdly enough, I was working on this before it dropped, and it worked with the code today. So this is the he is all of us stuff. What if the creatures we keep seeing is everything in one? Like the Hindu god of war, right? So Lord Kartikeya has got 6 faces, and they're powerful reminders of divinity's varied nature, as well as the intricacies of human experience. I really like the fact that this has got 6 faces. I really like that. Could it be that this has got some different... Maybe the fact we can't quite figure out where the face is because that has a few different faces? A face and then a mask and maybe somewhere else as well. I don't know that it would be 6. But this he is all of us has really grabbed people's attention. So right here, look, this is also at the bottom of the video. So there, look, that veiledrood, you can sort of just make it out, but it gives you a good idea of how hidden it was. David said, what if Dan Spivey came back to be a manager for the Wyatt 6, plus Dan Spivey tagged with IRS back in the 80s and trained with Barry Windham? So David, shout out to you. It's true, he did tag with Bray and Bo's father. Brady, shout out to you, pointing out that that veiledrood, my Hubbard here, is an anagram for overloaded. That's great, isn't it? So this thing just continues to just mess with our heads. Is it devil door? Is it veiled door? Is it that Catholic practice? Or is it an anagram for overloaded? Veiledrood, rood being a crucifix, commonly known as a cross. So veiled cross is the bride, Nikki Cross. So actually, does this connect with the bride? This veiledrood is a flipping nightmare. Nightmare. Right, Tapboy Grim said 4714 was the Raw after Mania where Cena beats Bray. Bray's self implied greatest failure involving Bray Wyatt. 7414 is the Raw after Mania where Cena beat Bray. I thought it was this tag match. Cena, Sheamus, Big E versus the Wyatt family. Oh, I understand. So where Cena beats Bray was at WrestleMania 30. This was the night after that, right? This is the Raw after that. So I don't think it connects to that. I think if they wanted to point to that match at WrestleMania, I think they would have put the WrestleMania date, which I think was the 6th. But instead, they've put the 7th. So I really think it points to Bo Dallas's first vignette. Flipping it to 4th of July 2014, we land on an episode of Smackdown with Bo Dallas. So I think it's the vignette's my favorite theory. 7DS said 22423 is the zip code for Jeddah. That's mental. Anime Fiend said, wait, what? Is Nikki kidnapped Candice? I don't think so, but this was just a little short time ago. Look, Bailey says, where's Candice? Meechin says, where is Candice? So there's a few questions around where has Candice gone? The screaming woman here, look at this. Looks like a person's face in pain and it flashed halfway through. And then we've got this, a breakdown of all the different stuff. So we can play this. You can see all the workings in the source codes. You can see the veiledrood. You can see the video playing in the top corner. You can see all the stuff being looked at. You can see the dot that's looked at. So this is just like a speeding up, if you will, of someone going through and finding all the different bits and how they kind of went through it. Looking at the Nightbird thing at the bottom that takes you to that Twitch stream. So this was PWN that put this video together. Mash J as well. So again, like that's all the working out, but speeded up. So that's really cool. So we've got this video, right? If we go over full screen, you can see, so we've spoke about everything, I think, now, apart from the video itself. So if we go back, we've got the video here. I'm going to play this, but I want you to hear the voice. Is it he or she?
He is nobody. He is all of us.
He or she?
He is nobody.
It's hard to say, innit?
He is all of us. He is nobody.
That one sounded like she.
He is all of us. He is nobody. He is all of us. He is nobody.
I feel like I can hear she now.
He is all of us. He is nobody. He is all
So it zooms in. And it seems to go into the mind. Look, through the eyes, into the mind.
Do you want to meet him?
Yes, please. Look at that. Look at that. That really looks like a skull. That really looks like some sort of goat skull, if you will. I mean, I feel like it's looking at me. I could totally believe this being some sort of a face covering. I could totally believe this covering here and it having like a pattern on it. With like a mouth and a nose, but the nose being like a skull nose. But that the indentations of the eyes, it feels like a skull. And I could believe this to be the eyes of the actual person that's wearing it. And I could believe this to be hair. Or something along those lines. And then this, of course, the body and the hands. This feels like the cleanest look we've had of it. I mean, it really feels like a goat or some sort of face that's here to me. So that was what we got at the end, and that was the whole QR code this week. As we said, that URL for this was 2/24/23, the date of the last Funhouse, also a postcode in Jeddah. There's another thing that I do want to show you though, and that is if I go into Nightbird, I don't know how much stock I put into this, but I do want to show you this. If I go off this and go down here, there's lots of bits and things in here which we'll have a look at probably in an unseen video. But like here, for example, this is an old image of the bride, and you can clearly see the black hair, right? This is why we're thinking the bride is Nikki, not the therapist, and not an Alexa, right? So that's a great shot. So I wanted to include that. And as we go down, I mean, I don't think that's Cody personally, but Undeniable Heel said, I know it isn't, but what if? It could be an indication of someone they're interested in targeting, but I don't think so, right? But let's keep going down. That was another one as well about how her the interruption made it look like the Fiend's pants. That was a theory that was doing the rounds that people seem to really enjoy. I like this one as well about the mirror and about how this could be a 5, a 2, and a 5. If you just look here, this could be 5 going round there, right? And that could be 5. That could be a 2, and that could be a 5. 5, 2, 5, which is the date of King and Queen of the Ring. I really like that. I really like that. I'm pleased we've got in this folder, actually. But this is what I wanted to show you. This was from April 22nd. Someone spotted it in the crowds, right? This Brendan. Shout out to Brendan, and shout out to Trilexi for tagging me in this. If we play this, look. This is someone in the crowds at Raw on April 22nd holding up a sign. Can't see what the sign says, but look, they're wearing a sheep's mask. Is it a case that they have been putting people in the crowds all along and we just have not noticed? And they've been standing in the stands and people just think they're fans. People might not think much about it, but they just think they're fans, might just think this is a weirdo, but it actually turns out to be connected. Does this have a bit more credence now that that woman was shown standing in the crowds in this week's QR code? You know, the way that I feel about this now might have changed a little bit, because this could just be like a fan that's dressed up. But now that we've seen that woman and now she is featured in the QR codes, what's this? What is this? Could be a fan. I really, really don't know. But I just want to bring it to your attention and let you decide. And that's it. I think that's everything that we covered. Really appreciate the support. Sorry this was so delayed, but I wanted to make sure that we did that deep dive that I know so many of you enjoy. Thank you so much for all of the support. And again, thoughts very much with Jodie, her friends, her family, and beautiful that WWE paid that tribute to her in the way that they did. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be back with something tomorrow, right? An unseen or a Nightbird video or something. So have a great evening, have a great weekend, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.